Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of The Chilling Archives of Horror Comics, The Return of the Zombies. Now, this is obviously number 18. This is an 18 one. And weirdly, some zombie has munched out a bit of the cover, which is actually quite annoyingly painful. Actually, every time I pick it up, I go, oh, yes, it always sort of, I think that was obviously a clever idea, but at the same time, it's, nice gruesome back cover there, and it's got a variety of different Matt Baker, George Evans, and many other. Lynn Streeter, as it says, many more from the 50s. And there's some gruesome stories. They're all great fun. And you've got the list there of you can see the list just about. So it all goes up to volume 19. I don't know if they've done any more. I mean, I think it's a great little series. I wish they would continue and add some more to this. I love the little article here as well about Spain and horror films. Quite fascinating little article. 140 pages of generally pretty gruesome stories. Horrific issue 4, and they're all over the place as well. They're not sort of like a consistent run, but they're all zombie themed and they're all great. You can tell straight away the story right at the front. That's that nice sort of blood there. It says publisher, Comic Media. Must admit, not familiar with. 1953. And obviously, it's a bit of a crime story, it's more than anything as well. I have a nut. And you got the story there. They're very short. I mean, some of these stories are about 6 pages. That's about it. But you've got all the way through. It's got blood coming. The Dead Remember. This one, ACG. You can always see an ACG one. ACG, they've always had that same sort of font, The Dead Remember. But they're always quite good stories. I enjoy quite a lot of them. 1954, Forbidden Worlds. And artist John Bloomer. And this one's obviously out of a Nazi one. So a very unusual story. This one's a really good one. Lighthouse of the Dead. Quality Comics. Great quality comics. I wish they'd bring out more books of quality comics ones. Web of Evil. This one's a bit sort of like reminding me of The Fog. That's where it came across, The Fog sort of thing. Without the fog rolling in. So I love that film, John Carpenter one. However, good little story. Land of the Zombies. And again, you can always tell ACG. You don't even have to look at the bottom to see where it comes from. And this one's 1951. Adventures into the Unknown. Now, there's quite a few collections of those sort of ones. Adventures into the Unknown, Forbidden Worlds, etc. So they're worth checking out. I don't know if they're the same size as this. About the same sort of size. But still, I think these are really, really nice. And the quality, very decent quality as well. I think they've nicely cleaned them up without sort of ruining them, changing the colours. They haven't sort of made them into a sort of modern, saturated colour, I think, like Marvel comics. So maybe people who like that sort of... But the artwork is just great. And lots of zombies. All the stories of zombies, of course. Some, I mean, you can feel quite ill just looking at it. That's a real sort of thing. That's what you feel like after a few too many drinks, I think. However, I think obviously in his case, he's probably a zombie, I expect. But there's just great artwork all the way through this. Just really good stories. And some daft ones with I hear your commands, I obey kind of thing story. Obviously, there's a lot of that sort of storyline as well. Which is quite good as well. And there's a couple of ones where like that. I thought that story was that one, but it wasn't. However, Vengeful Corpse is another story. This one's from Ace magazines. Actually using a very similar font style to the ACG, which is very unusual. So you got that one there. And also you got the covers as well, which I think is really quite nice. Now, I don't know if these are the covers for all, or they're just random covers, to be honest, because Challenge of the Unknown, I haven't seen any stories with that listed, but maybe I'm wrong there. But you can see some great covers there. Pretty gruesome. You would not want to be facing them. Villa of the Vampire. And also, could you face the Lonely? Probably not. No. But this one, Zombie Vengeance. I mean, I'm not certain. There's a great picture there. This guy goes along to what a strange looking creature. You imagine going to a sort of hotel or something. And the guy opens the door looking like that. You'd think, I don't think I'll be staying tonight. I think I'll just go off that way. However, he of course does. And he would have a story, would it? Oh, I'm just going to go. No, I'm not going to stick around. This one, Zombie Death, ACG again. Again, you can always just tell just from the way they did the top. Zombie Death. Great little story again. Lots of... And one thing I love about these books, and unfortunately not every single one of these books from IDW, because they are from IDW and Craig Yoe. I love Craig Yoe. He's just So many of these ones. YoeBooks.com, really worth checking out. Just produces so many great books. And IDW as well. 2016. So, however, what's great about this is also it's got this sort of thing, which I think is always great. Skeleton's Gibbet. The Skeleton's Gibbet. But it's great to see the original art pages from the collection, it says here, of Dave Odell. And this is The Unseen, 1954. Now, I mean, I'd love to see a whole book of all this just original ink pages. I mean, the colour's great, but I think the ink ones are great because you can see so much of the quality of the artwork. However, obviously, the stories are the thing that are king. And they're great. The Zombie's Disciple. This one's Adventures into the Unknown, ACG again. Lots of ACG, but Avon and all those sort of stories as well. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, another lot. Lots of, they must use a lot of green and sort of garish yellows and things, obviously for zombies. Obviously a pop. All grey, of course, for sort of ghostly looking characters. They're always The Secrets of the Walking Dead. Obviously, Secret of the Walking Dead. Obviously, we were called back then, Walking Dead. This magazine is haunted. Fawcett. And that's just great. I love The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead's great. I'm really looking forward to the final season. I can't think, surely that must be on fairly soon. Well, I will be watching it to find out how it finally finishes up. Well, we guess most of it anyway, but still. Phantom Lady. I love this, where they include this blue. That's just great. Just a lovely bit of artwork there. Matt Baker and Jack Kamen. Just all absolutely awesome. Phantom Lady 15. And that was from 1947. Great artwork. Just really good. I love the, obviously the guy with the, my name is unimportant. Yeah, as he's just going to inject someone with something. However, they do include a bit too much of this, which is nice. It gives it a sort of slick, professional touch, and there's sort of some real... However, there's a lot of things I always think would be nice to include more bonus material at the back instead of these sort of glossy pages that do give it a sort of special touch. But it's just... And likewise, the sort of chomping that out. I mean, which I think is great, but I think could be, over time, could probably damage pretty bad if you're worried about those kind of things. Introduction by Lone Fleming, it says there, but I think it's quite nice still. Still a nice touch, even though when I was surprised when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's very strange. But the Chilling Archives, I hope they do continue with this series, produce more of these sort of books. I think they're just great, these collections. Obviously the romance ones, crime ones, all these sort of great 50s. Of course, many of them are probably sort of readily available, public domain ones. I don't know about that. But however, I still think it's nice to see them in these sort of much better quality books than sort of like a public domain sort of collections. Because I love these. They're great. Return of the Zombies. Slightly different from the usual zombies that we see nowadays, but still very enjoyable books. Brilliant.